Hello everyone. As we already know well, Vault-Tec was never famous for its humanitarian deeds, or rather, it was famous, but for much more interesting reasons, for what was secretly happening within Vault-Tec's domain. In this video, we'll examine the vaults of the Fallout universe. We'll discover what inhumane experiments took place within the walls of the vaults and how they connect to the game's world. Vault Zero. Vault Zero was designed as the central command hub for the entire Vault network. It housed the calculator, an advanced AI supercomputer using preserved brains of America's greatest minds as biological processors to coordinate vaults and rebuild civilization. The calculator malfunctioned over time, becoming corrupted and threatening the wasteland with its robot army. The Brotherhood of Steel discovered Vault Zero during their Midwest expedition and dealt with the calculator, with the vault's fate depending on player choices. Since Fallout Tactics has semi-canon status and Vault Zero isn't referenced in mainline games, it has no confirmed canon details. Vault 3. Vault 3 was one of the 17 control vaults designed to actually protect inhabitants without experiments. It operated successfully for years with a stable population living normal lives underground. However, a water leak damaged the filtration system, forcing the Overseer to open the vault door so a repair team could find replacement parts. The repair team was immediately killed by the Fiends, a violent gang of chem-addicted raiders who breached the vault and massacred most of the 250 residents. Vault 3 is completely controlled by the Fiends and their leader Motor Runner, with some original residents kept as slaves. Vault 8. Vault 8 was one of the 17 control vaults with no experiment, designed to actually protect its inhabitants. The vault was equipped with a GECK, Garden of Eden Creation Kit, to help establish a new civilization. After little more than a decade underground, the residents successfully opened the vault to establish Vault City on the surface. By the time of Fallout 2, 200 years after the Great War, Vault City had become a thriving, highly advanced society with functioning medicine and technology built directly over the original Vault 8. This was an actually nice place to survive. Vault 11. Vault 11 was an experiment testing democracy and human sacrifice. The system required residents to annually elect an Overseer, who would then be executed by the Vault security. Inhabitants were told that refusing this sacrifice would result in the death of the entire population. After decades, only 5 residents remained. They finally chose to refuse the sacrifice and accept death. The Vault system then revealed the truth. They had passed the test by refusing to kill, and the door was unlocked, offering freedom. However, the psychological damage was overwhelming. Shortly after the reveal, 4 of the 5 survivors killed each other in a violent dispute, leaving only a single person to exit the vault. Vault 12. Vault 12 was an experiment vault designed to study radiation effects on humans. The vault door was intentionally designed to malfunction and not close properly, exposing residents to high radiation levels. As intended, most inhabitants transformed into ghouls, mutated humans with extended lifespans but physical deterioration. These ghoulified residents founded necropolis around the vault, creating one of the first major ghoul settlements. By Fallout 1, Necropolis had become an established ghoul community. Vault 13. Vault 13 was an experiment vault specifically designed for an isolation study, intended to remain sealed for 200 years to observe the effects of prolonged, complete isolation on its inhabitants. The intended timeline was cut short when the vault's water chip malfunctioned. This critical failure forced the Vault Dweller, the protagonist of Fallout 1, to leave the safety of the vault to search the wasteland for a replacement. After the Vault Dweller successfully saved the vault and defeated the Master Super Mutants, the Overseer exiled them. The Overseer feared that the Vault Dweller's knowledge of the outside world would destabilize their tightly controlled society. This decision led to a schism, with many Vault 13 inhabitants following the Vault Dweller out, eventually founding the village of Arroyo. By the time of Fallout 2, the remaining population of Vault 13 was discovered by the Enclave. who subsequently killed or kidnapped the residents for use in their experiments with the forced evolutionary virus FEV. Vault-15. Vault-15 was an experiment vault designed to test social conflict by housing people from extremely diverse backgrounds and cultures, intentionally creating clashing ideologies and lifestyles. The experiment succeeded in creating chaos. The vault became overpopulated and unstable, eventually leading to its collapse. When the vault opened, the inhabitants splintered into different groups that became major raider gangs in the wasteland: the Khans, Jackals, and Vipers. The remaining peaceful inhabitants who didn't join the raider factions went on to found Shady Sands, which later became the capital of the new California Republic. The vault appears as a location in both Fallout 1 and Fallout 2. Vault-17. Vault-17 is never directly visited in any game, but is referenced in Fallout New Vegas lore. The vault's inhabitants were captured by the Master's Unity and used to create super mutants through exposure to the FEV. This vault is significant because it's mentioned as the origin of some super mutants in the Mojave Wasteland. Beyond its capture by the Unity, no other details about Vault-17's original purpose, location, or experiment, if it had one, have been revealed in the games. Vault-19. The vault was divided into two sections, red and blue, with the residents separated and kept isolated from each other. Vault-Tec deliberately fed each group conflicting information and fostered distrust between the two populations to create paranoia and tension. The experiment succeeded, leading to conflict and the vault's eventual abandonment. By the time of Fallout New Vegas, the vault had been taken over by Powder Gangers, a group of escaped convicts who use it as a hideout. Vault-21. Vault-21 was an experiment vault designed to study a society where all conflicts were resolved through games of chance, primarily gambling. No wonder they chose Vault number 21 for this one. The vault functioned successfully with this system for many years. In 2274, Robert House won ownership of the entire vault in a game of blackjack against the residents. House then filled most of the vault with concrete, keeping only the top levels accessible, and converted it into a hotel on the New Vegas Strip. The former vault dweller, Sarah Weintraub, now runs it as a hotel and gift shop, preserving what remains of Vault-21's unique history. Vault-22. Vault-22 was designed to research agriculture and develop sustainable food production for the post-war world. The scientists experimented with genetically modified plants and spores to create hardy crops that could survive harsh conditions. However, the experiments went catastrophically wrong when a fungal pest they were studying mutated and began infecting the vault's inhabitants. The infected residents were transformed into spore carriers, hostile plant-zombie hybrids controlled by the fungus. Some survivors managed to escape and fled to Zion Canyon, but they carried the spores with them, spreading the contamination. By Fallout New Vegas, Vault-22 is completely overrun with deadly spore carriers and mutated plant life. Vault-27. Vault-Tec deliberately sealed this facility with double its intended capacity, housing approximately 2,000 residents instead of the usual 1,000. This deliberate lack of space and overstretched resources quickly led to violent riots, rapid social breakdown, and the spread of disease among the population. The experiment was a catastrophic failure, forcing the surviving inhabitants to eventually abandon the vault and flee to the surface. Vault-29. Vault-29 was an experiment vault where no one over the age of 15 was allowed to enter. Parents and adults were intentionally redirected to other vaults, leaving only children and teenagers to run the vault entirely on their own. The experiment tested whether a society of young people could survive and govern themselves without adult guidance. The vault is primarily known from the Fallout Bible, which gives it semi-canon status. It's also referenced in Fallout 76 materials. Harold, a recurring character in the Fallout series, is believed to have originated from this vault, though this hasn't been definitively confirmed in the mainline games. Vault 31, 32, and 33. This is basically what happens in the Fallout TV series' first season. Vaults 31, 32, and 33 were three interconnected vaults in Los Angeles designed as a single elaborate experiment by Bud Askins, a Vault-Tec sales executive. The system was ostensibly created for mutual support and security between the three populations, but the true purpose was far more sinister. Vaults 32 and 33 housed normal populations who believed they were independent communities, while Vault 31 secretly contained cryonically preserved Vault-Tec executives. These executives would be periodically awakened and sent to the other two vaults to serve as overseers and interbreed with the populations, creating a breeding pool of loyal Vault-Tec employees. The goal was to indoctrinate generations toward corporate loyalty and monopolize control of the wasteland, all while keeping the inhabitants of Vaults 32 and 33 completely unaware of the truth. In 2296, Vault 32 was massacred by Lee Moldaver's raiders who used it to infiltrate Vault 33, and later Vault 33 dwellers resettled Vault 32 on Bud Askins' orders. Vault 34. Vault 34 was an experiment Vault-Tec designed to induce aggression and social collapse by severely overstocking its armory with weapons and ammunition while providing limited recreational activities. Tensions escalated into violent civil war over the arsenal, damaging the Vault's reactor and causing catastrophic radiation leaks that killed or ghoulified most residents. Some survivors escaped before the worst radiation spread, eventually forming the Boomers tribe at Nellis Air Force Base. By New Vegas, Vault 34 is a highly irradiated ruin filled with feral ghouls. Vault 43. The vault was sealed with a population of 31 total inhabitants, 20 men, 10 women, and 1 panther. The goal was to observe the social and psychological chaos resulting from extreme sexual competition and the necessity of managing a large, dangerous animal within a closed environment. The final outcome of this strange experiment remains unknown in the official Fallout games canon. Strange, huh? Vault 51. Vault 51 was an experiment vault using a Zax AI to select an ideal overseer through tests and challenges. The AI became corrupted and manipulated residents into increasingly deadly competitions, forcing them to eliminate each other. The twisted selection process killed all inhabitants. By Fallout 76, Vault 51 is abandoned except for the still active AI. Vault 63. Vault 63 was a specialized experiment vault designed by Overseer Hugo Stoltz for weather manipulation research using the massive Storm Goliath machine. Stoltz's true goal was to use the technology for post-war control and to cure his wife. The vault was never completed before the war, resulting in massive radiation exposure that ghoulified the survivors. Stoltz's attempt to use the Storm Goliath to help his wife instead catastrophically mutated many inhabitants into the hostile, mind-controlled faction known as the Lost. By Fallout 76, Skyline Valley, Vault 63 is a failed experiment occupied by the ghoulified survivors and the Lost, who are locked in conflict over the dangerous weather machine. Vaults 68 and 69. Vaults 68 and 69 were two closely related experiment vaults designed to study the effects of extreme gender imbalance on social structure, reproduction, and eventual collapse. Vault 68 was sealed with a population of 999 men and only 1 woman. Vault 69 was sealed with a population of 999 women and only 1 man. The outcomes of these specific vaults are unknown in the official game canon. Vault 75. Vault 75 was an experiment vault beneath Malden Middle School designed for eugenics and genetic refinement to create superior humans. Upon entry, adults were immediately executed and the children were kept as test subjects. They were put through rigorous physical and mental training. At age 18, those deemed unfit were executed. graduated, and the superior survivors were used for genetic harvesting. The experiment ended when the test subjects learned the truth and killed the scientists. By Fallout 4, the abandoned vault is used as a base by the Gunners mercenary faction. Vault 76. Vault 76 was one of the 17 control vaults with no experiment, designed to actually protect its inhabitants. It was meant to house America's best and brightest citizens, the most talented, intelligent, and capable people selected to help rebuild civilization after the nuclear war. The vault was programmed to open exactly 25 years after the Great War, in 2102, which is earlier than most vaults. When it opened on Reclamation Day, the residents emerged into Appalachia with the mission to rebuild society and secure the local nuclear missile silos. The Vault Dwellers, the player characters in Fallout 76, became instrumental in the reconstruction of Appalachia and played a key role in combating threats like the Scorched Plague. Vault 76 is where players begin their journey in Fallout 76. Vault 77. Vault 77 contained only one man and a crate of puppets. The lone inhabitant was forced to live in complete isolation with nothing but puppet companions, which drove him to insanity. The psychological torture of absolute loneliness, combined with only inanimate objects for company, had devastating effects on his mental state. The Vault Dweller eventually escaped and became known in the Wasteland. While Vault 77 originates from a penny arcade webcomic called One Man and a Crate of Puppets, it was referenced in Fallout 3 when a unique item called Vault 77 jumpsuit can be found at Paradise Falls, making it semi-canon. The vault's actual location and full details remain unknown. Vault 79. Vault 79 was a secret vault designed to house the United States gold reserves from Fort Knox rather than conduct social experiments. It functioned as a massive underground depository, operated and protected by the Secret Service for nearly 200 years. By 2013, in Fallout 76's Wastelanders expansion, Vault 79 becomes central to the main storyline, as different factions attempt to heist the gold. The player must choose which group to support in claiming or protecting this enormous wealth. Vault 81. Vault 81 was an experiment vault designed to develop cures by using its residents as unwitting disease test subjects from a secret science division. However, the original overseer, Dr. Olivet, discovered the cruel plan and sealed off the science section, allowing the civilian population to live normally. The stranded scientists eventually died while experimenting on mole rats. Vault 81 opened about 100 years after the Great War and remains one of the few functional inhabited vaults in Fallout 4, where the AI companion Curie can be found. Vault 87. Vault 87 was an experiment vault designed to test the FEV virus on its civilian population. The residents were unknowingly transformed into super mutants. The FEV testing was successful, but the mutants eventually seized control from the scientists. By Fallout 3, Vault 87 serves as a major super mutant stronghold in the capital Wasteland, which they use to capture new subjects for FEV transformation. The main entrance is inaccessible due to surface radiation from a direct nuclear hit, requiring players to enter via little lamplight. Vault 88. Vault 88 was an experiment vault designed as a massive testing ground for Vault-Tec prototype equipment and social control devices. However, the vault was never completed before the Great War, remaining a series of unfinished tunnels. The overseer, Valerie Barstow, survived as a ghoul and spent over 200 years there. In Fallout 4's Vault-Tec Workshop DLC, she recruits the player, sole survivor, to finish its construction and conduct the planned experiments on settlers. The vault is unique as it is the largest location players can customize and build themselves. Vault 94. Vault 94 was an experiment vault testing how pacifists would survive in the post-apocalypse world. repopulated with non-violent residents and equipped with a GEC, they successfully created lush vegetation around their settlement. However, when raiders attacked, the pacifists couldn't defend themselves and were massacred. The GEC was damaged during the attack, malfunctioning and spreading uncontrolled mutations that transformed the area into the mire, a dangerous, overgrown swampland. Vault 95. Vault 95 was an experiment vault testing chem addiction recovery. Populated with addicts promised rehabilitation, the program appeared successful for 5 years. However, a Vault-Tec plant then revealed a hidden stash of chems, causing mass relapse, chaos, and societal collapse. By Fallout 4, the abandoned vault is occupied by gunners. Vault 96. Vault 96 was an experiment vault designed as a cryo-ark to preserve animal embryos and genetic material. Its true purpose was to accelerate mutation in these embryos to create hardy, genetically modified post-war fauna. The human residents were keepers, not test subjects. The experiments failed catastrophically. The thawing and mutation of the cryopreserved animals sparked violent conflict among the staff and created dangerous mutated creatures. This led to the vault's collapse and abandonment. By the time players find Vault 96 in Fallout 76, it is deserted by humans and functions as a hub for the hostile mutated creatures. Vault 101. Vault 101 is the starting location of Fallout 3 and the only home the player character has ever known. It was an experimental vault designed to study a society that would never escape. Its residents were intended to remain sealed inside forever under the motto, "Nobody ever enters and nobody ever leaves." Later, this isolation was fundamentally broken when the previous overseer permitted the outsider scientist, James, and his infant child, the lone wanderer, to enter the vault. James later raised his child in the vault. When James escaped the vault to continue his critical water purification research, Project Purity, it triggered an immediate crisis. The lone wanderer's subsequent escape to follow their father caused extreme social tension, quickly escalating into a violent schism within the vault. This schism was between the isolationists, led by the then current overseer, Amata's father, who desperately wanted to maintain the vault seal, and those who wished to open the door to the wasteland. These events led to the ultimate collapse of the vault's rigid social structure and the overseer's authoritarian control. Vault 106. Vault 106 was an experiment vault designed to test the effects of psychoactive drugs on a population. The air system was rigged to release hallucinogenic gas into the ventilation shortly after sealing. The experiment was a success, driving the inhabitants completely insane with paranoia, delusions, and violent psychosis, leading to the death of most residents and the vault's breakdown. By Fallout 3, the vault is filled with hostile, insane survivors. Players entering the vault also experience hallucinations due to the residual psychoactive compounds. Vault 108. Vault 108 was a multifaceted experiment vault focused on studying succession chaos and genetic replication. For the first experiment, the overseer was secretly given fast-acting cancer, designed to die within 40 months. Simultaneously, the vault housed a cloning lab with a subject named Gary. When the overseer died and chaos erupted, the lab malfunctioned, producing hundreds of hostile Gary clones with extremely limited intelligence, only able to say Gary. The clones overwhelmed and killed the original residents. By Fallout 3, Vault 108 is entirely overrun by Gary clones, making it a bizarre and hostile location. Vault 111. Vault 111 was an experiment vault designed to test cryogenic preservation on unwitting subjects. The residents were told they were entering a standard shelter but were actually frozen in cryogenic pods immediately after entry. The vault staff monitored the frozen subjects to study long-term cryogenic stasis effects. Decades after the war, Institute agents entered the vault, thawed one of the subjects, Sean, and kidnapped him for their experiments, killing his parent in the process before refreezing the surviving parent. Eventually, the vault's life support systems failed, killing all the cryogenically frozen residents except for one, the sole survivor, Fallout 4's protagonist, who awakens 210 years after the Great War. Vault 111 serves as the starting location for Fallout 4's main story. Vault 112. Vault 112 was an experiment vault where residents were placed in cryogenic pods and trapped in a virtual reality VR program called Tranquility Lane, an idyllic 1950s neighborhood. The simulation was controlled by the sadistic overseer, Dr. Stanislaus Brown, who used his power to psychologically torture the residents for over 200 years, constantly erasing their memories and resetting the simulation. The lone wanderer, protagonist of Fallout 3, enters the simulation to find their father and is given the choice to free the trapped inhabitants. Vault 114. Vault 114 was an experiment vault designed to study class conflict. It was built in cramped, unfinished conditions beneath Park Street Station to deliberately subject Boston's wealthy elite to poor living standards. The vault's overseer was specifically an anti-authority anarchist chosen for their lack of leadership, intended to rule incompetently over the privileged population. The vault was never completed before the Great War. By Fallout 4, the abandoned facility is used as a hideout by Skinny Malone's Triggerman gang. Vault 118. Vault 118 was a small, unfinished experiment vault designed to impose a rigid corporate social hierarchy, separating a handful of wealthy investors into luxury apartments while relegating service staff to cramped quarters. The vault was incomplete when the bombs fell. The wealthy investors survived by transferring their brains into RoboBrain units. By Fallout 4, Far Harbor, these RoboBrain residents still occupy Vault 118, maintaining their elite pre-war society within the facility. Well, these were all the vaults we currently have any knowledge about. I hope I didn't miss any, but if I did, you can let me know in the comments along with your opinion about the topic, about Vault-Tec, or about the Fallout universe itself. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe. This greatly supports the channel's operation. Thank you for your attention, and I'll see you next time.